If you don't know Gwynne Robbins, you should. She's contributed immensely to the Jewish community, and now she's officially retired. We look back on her time at the South African Jewish Board of Deputies.
My great-grandfather started the first Zionist society in Cape Town around about 1897. It didn't last very long. My great-grandmother, after whom I'm named, was known as the first Jewish social worker. And I have a certificate that was given to her when she retired, signed by the Jewish Orphanage, by the Jewish Board of Deputies, and by Highlands House. And interestingly enough, I have worked with or been involved with all three of those organizations. My mother was the longest serving member of the B'nai Zion Ritzo Association. My father was made an honorary member, and he was too embarrassed as a man to go and fetch his certificate. And I grew up helping my mother at the annual fetes, and she ran the garden parties. And my brother went to live in Israel. He's got 3 boys. My daughter lives in Israel. So Zionism has always been part of our lives. For the second half of my life, I've only worked for Jewish organizations. I was a social worker, but before that, I worked for National Cancer Association. I worked for Cape Mental Health Society. I worked at the General Hospital, and I was the first social worker in the Child Psychiatry Department at the Johannesburg Children's Hospital. I worked for many years for the Cape Jewish Seniors Association. I joined them when it was still very new, and the social worker's office was the room off the kitchen. So on the day that they were busy frying fish, it was really very difficult for us to be sitting in our office. I developed a branch at Claremont, and I started a branch in Muizenberg. And for me it was perfect because I'd be organising lectures, and I love lectures, and I'm organising outings, and I love outings. So it was just perfect for me. And at one time I was organising 16 events a month for the 3 different branches with the speakers and the events. And whenever the speaker let us down and didn't pitch, then I would step in with one of my articles and would give it to the seniors. And then I moved from there to the Jewish Board of Deputies, and I worked for the Board of Deputies from the year 2000 until 2021, and I stopped there a couple of months ago. My role at the board was the Deputy Director. I was to assist the Director. I was in charge of the Cape Committee, so I did the agenda and the minutes. I monitored the media for anti-Semitic things, because it's important for us to know what the temper is on the ground. We're a small community, we're a minority community, we are a threatened community. And I regarded myself as a Jewish civil servant. I decided when I started that for the PR of any business, you need to be able to handle everybody who approaches you with politeness and care and courtesy. So I made quite sure that everybody who came across me, whether they're writing to me at the board or phoning up the board, I would give them a good answer. So I got all sorts of questions, and towards the end that was my main role. Because I'd written so many books and articles, I was very knowledgeable about the Jewish community. And people knew that if they wanted to know anything about anybody, you contact Gwynne. Although when Diane Gross asked me to become involved in interfaith, I was rather reluctant, but I'd already learned not to say no to anything that's new. It's been a wonderful experience for me because I have met amazing people that I would never have got to know otherwise. I have been into ashrams and mosques and churches and places I would never have had access to, and learned people. And I have seen the difference that the Cape Town Interfaith Initiative has made to interfaith relations in Cape Town. Before, if there was a major event, I'm talking about during apartheid, a Germany would give a prayer. Now, we had become the one-stop shop. They'd phone us up and say, we're having it's the Cape Town's 150th anniversary, or we're having prayers for a policeman who died on the line of duty, or prayers for no violence against children. Will you please find us an imam and a guru and a rabbi and a priest. And it would start with one of everything. One advantage of doing interfaith is I get to know all sorts of people that I can use as contact. When I'm a networker, I make connections, and that's what I enjoy doing, which is why when people phone me up, I'm able to make connections to them, to the person that can help them or is just the sort of person for them. So by working through interfaith, I was able to meet people that would be of use to the board for us to invite to events, people that I would never have got to know otherwise. Certain things stand out as having given me great satisfaction. When I was a social worker, I became the chairman of the Jewish Professional Group, which is the group made up of all of the social workers from all the Jewish welfare organizations. When South Africa changed and the ANC was unbanned, and we are now allowed to meet with people from different colors, I said to the social workers, this year is the United Nations Year of the Child and Family. Let us organize a conference for all the social workers, which means the social workers of all colors. We've never been able to do anything like that before. And it was covered in the Jewish Chronicle because it was the first time we'd ever had an event with different races together. So that was a very satisfying thing. Another thing that was very satisfying to me was when I did the book on Holocaust survivors called In the Sacred Memory, because it gave so much satisfaction and pleasure to so many survivors. It did good. I really felt very, very pleased about it. Because of my knowledge of Jewish history, right through the centuries, and the Holocaust, I'm intensely aware of the harm that prejudice does. I believe ignorance is a major factor for it. So I think whatever that can be done to break down barriers and teach people that we are just the same as them, we can be just as nice or just as nasty as them, I think interfaith is a very, very important role. Not only for the Jewish community, but also for the Shiites, for the Baha'i, for everybody. It's important for people to realize that we're all human beings. Everybody today, whether they are Australian or English or German or Zulu or South American, we all come from Africa. We're all the same. So there's really no, and in much the same way as we mightn't get on with our brothers or sisters, but have to get on with them because they're family. We should be all getting on with each other. It doesn't really matter how you pray or where you pray or if you pray. We're all human beings, and if by interfaith I can help show people that Jews are just like them, we don't have horns and we don't have tails, I think it's probably one of the most important things that we can do.